everybody, I hope this finds you well. So today's video is hopefully going to serve as a kind of refresher course, and at the very least I hope it will help anybody who is newly transitioning or starting any kind of healthy hair journey. We're just going to talk about a couple of ingredients and what effect it has on our hair. So the first one that we're going to start with is the big guns. It's sulfates. Typically found in your shampoo. This is an inexpensive, really cheap detergent. It's a foaming agent, a cheap surfactant, but do be aware that you can actually find it in your conditioners as well. The two main ones to look out for is SLS, so sodium lauryl or laureth sulfate, and SLES, sodium lauryl ether sulfate. Those two are the big ones that you kind of want to avoid. Now, if you can imagine the term surfactant, basically it's like clearing away the surface. Sounds all well and good, but a synthetic ingredient like sulfate, especially on kinky, coily hair, you can imagine our hair is already dry by nature, quite weak, quite brittle because of those kinks and coils. It needs to stay quite lubricated and moisturized because our sebum naturally doesn't reach the ends. And the sulfates tend to rough up the cuticle, breaking away at the follicle and drying the hair out. Now you may come across something that says, for example, cocoa sulfonate, and that basically means it's derived from coconuts. So that is completely fine, completely natural, and tends to be a lot more moisturizing and less lathersome than your typical cheap shampoos. I mean, beware, because even some really expensive shampoos contain sulfates as well. An example of a sulfate-free shampoo I can recommend is the Burt's Bees More Moisture shampoo, and that's enriched with baobab. Now, some people just avoid shampoos altogether. That's totally fine. I personally like to use one every 6 to 8 weeks to kind of clarify my hair. The next ingredient is silicones. Silicones is basically anything with cone at the end, so like dimethicone or anything with zane at the end. I can't think of one in particular, I'll just make one up. Methazane, anything like that is basically a silicone. Silicones, if you can imagine, are like little tiny polymers that bond to the hair shaft. So you've just done stripping your hair of all its natural oils and roughing up that cuticle using sulfates. So then you want to go ahead and coat it with something, so you use a silicone loaded conditioner. The problem again with this is it's just giving off the appearance of shininess because of those pieces that are bonding to our hair and sticking and coating the follicle and the hair shaft. It's kind of giving off this appearance of shine and this feeling of softness, but it's not really doing that. There's no moisture that can pass through silicones. Think about it this way, like, what do you use in between your bathtub and in your bath tiles to avoid getting water into the walls? Silicones. So if you're putting that on your hair, no moisture can get into your hair. So again, if your hair is dry by nature, over time using silicones will build up and build up on the hair, and your hair will still be dry and brittle. They're basically fake conditioning agents, so don't use anything with silicones in it. A good example of a silicone-free conditioner that I can recommend is the Body Shop's banana conditioner. Really, really nice. It's got banana and honey in it, and it's silicone-free, so it's gonna get all that nice moisture back into the hair that we love. Mineral oil. I talk about this a lot personally because I do not like mineral oil on the hair, and this kind of falls into the category of mineral oil, petroleum, lanolin, all of those kinds of really thick emollients. And actually mineral oil itself is a derivative of petroleum. Cheap detangling conditioners and products probably contain mineral oil so that the hair can slip and slide, and you're going to think, oh, this is fabulous, but it's doing a similar thing to silicones. It's coating the hair shaft, meaning no water can actually get in. Some people, however, have had no problem with petroleum or mineral oil. Some people use it, like, I think cholesterol does tend to have mineral oil in it, but you know, a lot of people love to use that and have really long healthy hair to prove it. So this is by no means telling you you have to drop all of your stuff, but it's just a suggestion or something to look out for. If your hair is particularly dry, that might be why. Something that mineral oil might be beneficial in, and again something that I've seen some ladies use, is in the lock method. So if you use liquid and you're getting that good moisture onto your hair first, and then you're using your regular say shea butter or coconut oil, and then you're using a cholesterol cream on top of that, that's going to act as a really good lock and barrier, because nothing is getting in or out. Technically, you'll have all that moisture locked in. So that's why a lot of people have found benefits to using mineral oil. I don't. It tends to really weigh my hair down and my hair gets really dry. Like, it feels oily, but it's actually really dry underneath. So that's why it's something to kind of look out for. An example of mineral oil free products is pretty much everything by Shea Moisture, As I Am, like the TGIN Twist and Define Cream, the As I Am Double Butter Cream, and the Shea Moisture Curl and Style Milk. Parabens and phthalates. Now, parabens, they're actually said to limit the frizziness of hair, and parabens are technically a preservative. They don't really do anything to our hair. However, the reason why there has been quite the surge in things being more natural and being paraben free is because they have been linked to cancers, and in particular to breast cancer. Now, there isn't any conclusive proof. They found parabens in both healthy tissue as well as cancerous tissue. So there's no actual true correlation yet. However, if it's paraben free, you might as well freaking go for it. Phthalates, on the other hand, are used in a few different ways. They can be used to dissolve products, they can be used to mix products. Phthalates are also used to help fragrances last longer. So all that stuff that you know that smells really good sometimes might contain phthalates in there. Again, it has been linked to cancers and weight gain. The EU, I say this with a tear, the EU actually has regulations against phthalates, so I don't think anything in the EU has any. I don't know how that's going to change now that we voted out. That's neither here nor there today, but that's again just something to look out for, especially if you do prefer more natural ingredients. The last one to talk about are alcohols. Now, alcohol is kind of a two-way street when it comes to healthy hair, because there are good alcohols and there are bad alcohols. The good alcohols are ones that tend to be naturally derived from plants and fruits. Ones like cetyl alcohol, cetearyl alcohol, stearyl alcohol, all of those ones tend to be fatty alcohols. So they're really conditioning, they're really emollientating in the good way. So you tend to find those in really nice, rich, moisture mask conditioners and detangling products. They also tend to be humectants. They draw in that moisture a lot like glycerin, and they tend to provide a ton of slip. So if your product has loads of slip, it probably has a really nice, good fatty alcohol in there. Bad alcohols, on the other hand, tend to be found in cheap hairsprays, cheap finishing products, gels, things like that. They tend to be preservatives. But again, if you imagine if you just were to pour a bottle of vodka on your hair and then go outside and it evaporates, your hair is just going to be crazy, crazy dry and brittle. So again, over time, using these products that have bad alcohols in them, your hair is going to dry out. So ones to look out for is propanol, ethanol, SD alcohol 40, and isopropyl, along with a few others. A product that I use that has the good fatty alcohol, cetearyl alcohol, is Big Hair Beauty's Deep Conditioning Hair Treatment. That's another kind of conditioning treatment that's got clay, it's got banana, honey, nice and natural, and really deeply penetrating, moisturizing, and takes nothing away but puts everything in. My rule of thumb, which is quite the same with most people, if you can't pronounce it, you probably shouldn't use it. I mean, unless you study science and you're probably good at pronouncing all this stuff anyway, but you know the drift. Usually it's just about finding what works for you. If you use something that's got sulfates and your hair is down to your backside and it's healthy and you love it, keep using it. Don't feel like you have to follow the trend of not using all this stuff, but it is good practice to start with natural hair products or natural products, and it's also good practice if your hair is particularly damaged or dry to start natural and then work your way up and see how you get along. So I hope this has helped you guys. If you've got any more ingredients that you want to discuss, we can talk about them in the comments down below. If you're new to my channel, do click subscribe. All of my other social media will be in the down bar. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.